Santa Sue, and today my senior project is a motivational speech about self-love and how that ties into SSHS culture. Before we start, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for taking your time out of your day to come here and listen to me speak. But before I start, I would like to welcome Lyda onto the stage. She's going to perform a song for you guys. So welcome Lyda to the stage.
It's not simple to say that most days I don't recognize me, that these shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. It's not easy to know I'm not anything like I used to be, although it's true I was never attention sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken and won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine. And it's not what I asked for. Sometimes life, oh, it slips in through a back door and carves out a person and makes you believe it's all true. And now I've got you, and you're not what I asked for. If I'm honest, I know I would give it all back for a chance to start over and rewrite an ending or two for that girl that I knew who was reckless just enough, who gets hurt, oh, but she learns how to toughen up when she's bruised and gets used by a man who can't love. And then she'll be stuck and be scared of the life that's inside her, growing stronger each day till it finally reminds her to fight just a little to bring back the fire in her eyes that's been gone, but it used to be mine. Oh, it used to be mine. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She is all of this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine.
Let's give another hand for Lyda. All right. How many of you guys have ever felt sad? Raise your hand. I want everyone to look around. Everyone look around. I have all the hands raised. We all have problems, okay? And in my 4 years of high school, I learned that life frickin' sucks, okay? And we don't always get what we want. I had to learn that the hard way. Throughout all those times that I was knocked out, I couldn't bring myself to get back up, like going out with friends, getting out of my house, or even getting out of bed. That's how bad it was. Those moments that I had to learn the hardest. But that's just how it is when growing up, because all of your emotions are messed up. But despite all those hardships, and as cheesy as it sounds, I am so thankful that it happened. Because if it wasn't for all those moments that I've cried in my room, in the shower, at my job, in the school's restroom, even in Miss Kylie's office, if it wasn't for those moments, those significant moments, those circumstances, I wouldn't be on this stage tonight. About 4 years ago, I walked onto this school as a little freshman, a little freshie, and that was the start of my high school experience. Wanting a fresh start, because as we all know, middle school sucks. And when I walked onto this campus, the first thing I saw was a poster that said, "Freshmen are friends, not food." And that was one of my favorite first memories here at Santa Sue. At that time, I thought to myself, wow, I can't wait to start high school. This is going to be great. I'm going to make new friends. My life is going to be awesome now. However, if only 14-year-old Michelle knew what was going to happen to her. Before I get into all the gritty details, I think all the seniors and every person that has gone through the process of high school can agree that there's certain things that we wish we could have told ourselves when we were younger. Okay, sometimes we just want to sit our younger selves down and be like, yeah, life isn't how we thought it would turn out to be. Anyway, in that same year, I went through the most typical teenage girl scenario, which was going through a breakup. Now, I'm not going to go into detail because I personally believe it's unnecessary, and to this day I'm good with said person, so don't worry, I'm not throwing shade or anything. And, we're good now. But at that time of my life, though, it was heart-wrenching. And I think that everyone has had that experience where you lose a friend or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And to be honest, it's one of the most semi-traumatic experiences you can go through at a young age. And because you're making a special connection with a person, whether that be a friendship or romantically, whichever position you're in, it is the worst feeling you can ever go through. So during that time, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and due to things that were said and done within the relationship and outside of the relationship, I lost all my friends because of it. So after the breakup, I didn't have anyone to lean on to or to talk to. And this is not me exaggerating or anything. I literally didn't have anyone at that time except for my older sister, who's over there sitting in the corner, and the rest of my family, who's also sitting in the corner, who were always at home when I got back from school. But when you're young, you spend most of your time at school, and not having anyone sucks. All I could remember was sitting in the library for 2 whole months and a half alone, and that's when I first learned the word lonely. I hated that feeling. Loneliness can feel, that feeling when you're crying on the inside but you can't cry on the outside because you're too weak to do it? That feeling. That's the only way I can describe it. And when you're lonely, you start to overthink things. And when you start to overthink things, things can get a little messy, or a lot messy. So when I started overthinking, I started telling myself these awful things towards myself. I was angry at the situation. I was angry at the world. I was angry at said person and my old friends. I would say things out to the universe. Why are they happy and I'm not? Why is life sunshine and rainbows for them and not me? They're having a grand old time and I'm here in the library alone and crying. I just got out of middle school, and by the way, I blacked out all those memories. The world is choosing me to mess with. Now, something that I wish I could do is go back in time and sit that Michelle down and tell her, do not blame the world for your problems. That instead of moping around and complaining, to instead hold that situation in her hands and to use it strategically to help others and to help herself grow, instead of asking God, why me? And I feel like so many people think that the world's against them somehow, and that it gives them the right to put others down. And by others, I also mean yourself. Don't put yourself down. Did you guys all hear what I said? Do not put yourself down. Just like what others in the past have said, you are your worst enemy. But on a lighter note, the only thing that I want you guys to take from this experience is that better things are yet to come. To you, to all of you guys. And I'm saying that with so much confidence because, as y'all know, I've been there, you know. We've all been there. Yeah, we may not get what we want, but there's always a reason to keep going. And if you think that I'm strong, you guys are just as strong as me and maybe even more. And something that I want to share with you guys that, you know, that happened to me last week was, as you guys already know, I was supposed to have this project in the PAC. And unfortunately, due to, you know, some lack of communication and organization, I wasn't able to have it in there. And because I worked so hard on it, I did everything I could to get it back, what I was promised. And I did my part. I did everything that I needed to get done to, you know, to get it. But again, unfortunately, I didn't. And that was one of the hardest things I had to go through. And the reason why that I find it really ironic was because originally what I wrote in this part of my speech was, you know, which I'm going to read to you guys right now. And I was looking at it last night and I was like, oh my God, this has so much irony to it. I wrote down saying, you know, so what if the relationship didn't work out, or you didn't get the body that you wanted, the girl that you wanted, the guy that you wanted, the job that you wanted. And like what are you, like, so what if you didn't get what you wanted? What are you going to do about it? That's what I wrote. And for that whole situation to happen with the whole PAC and switch thing to here really opened my eyes to see that God was really testing me on what I wrote. You know, it's like a practice what you preach type of moment, you know? So that's what I wanted to share to you guys, what I wrote originally. But it's true. You know, sometimes you don't get what you want, but there's always a reason to keep going. So back to the breakup story. Okay, so there I was blaming the world for my problems, crying. Did I mention that I cry a lot? Anyway, in my freshman PE class, where Zach Girardi and Miguel Mangel were comparing their calves to see who had the biggest ones, two boys named Jesus Albanez and Xavier Castaneda came up to me and asked me if I would like to sit with them at lunch. And for me, that was one of the most unforgettable memory that I have in my life so far. I will forever be grateful for Jesus and Xavier for adopting me into their friend group at that time. It takes one word, one simple phrase to save someone from potentially ending it all. Now, I know that may sound over dramatic, but at that age, you tend to jump to conclusions or decisions or headspaces that may not be the correct ones. And I am forever grateful for them teaching me to do the same, to talk to those who are in need, to talk to those who are in need of a friend. So from that day forward, I started developing the idea to write a motivational speech about what I went through that semester. And basically the theme of that speech was about forgiveness and what it's like to be an outcast within the hallways at school and within your mind. All that deep stuff. And the first person to open their doors for me to speak in their classroom of my freshman year was good old Mr. Harlen, who was 81 at that time. I really thank God for Mr. Harlen, for believing in me and for believing in the message that God put in my heart. Now, every classroom was so different. The first class that I had to speak to was his second period. And not gonna lie, they were my favorite period because they were really energetic and they responded to my jokes. And then the second class I had to speak to was his fourth period. Now, his fourth period were very scary. Not scary looking, but like when I walked in, they all had serious faces and they didn't respond to my jokes at all. However, when I finished speaking with them, one of the students from that period came up to me and said, "We are so sorry, but the reason why our class was very quiet the whole time was because we talk a lot and Mr. Hamlet yells at us to be quiet when there's a guest speaker." After finding that out, I was like, okay, that makes so much more sense. So it's not me. Finally, the last class that I had to speak to was his sixth period. And they were the crybaby of the three classes because by the time I was finished talking to them, half of the class needed tissues. But one thing that all the classes had in common was that after I was done speaking with each class, every single student stood up in a line to hug me. And for me, to this day, it like mind boggles me because every class decided to do the same thing. And I don't think that's just a coincidence. So I took that as a sign that this is what I was meant to do. And after every class, many of my classmates would come up to me and tell me how they didn't feel alone anymore. They went through the same thing. I was their voice and how I touched their hearts. And again, that's when I realized that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So my plan was to make this a yearly thing that I would do for just incoming freshmen who are taking help from Mr. Helmuth. And Mr. Helmuth agreed and told me to come back next year and do it again. And I was like, okay. So sophomore year began. And this was when I started developing body image issues. I couldn't bring myself to look at a mirror. I hated everything about my body, like everything. And I didn't think of myself as pretty or beautiful. I didn't believe that I was capable of getting a boyfriend again. I didn't believe that guys would find me attractive. It was a huge spiral of negative physical image. And not just physical, but also how I perceived my personality. I didn't love acting like myself. When it came to meeting new guys that I liked or meeting new people in general, if those friendships or relationships didn't turn out well, I would blame myself for it. I would tell myself that maybe they left me because you talked too much, or you didn't talk enough, or you weren't funny enough, or you weren't pretty enough, or you weren't skinny enough. But the number one that I would keep telling myself above everything else that I just said was, you aren't interesting enough. Now that one hits home for me because, again, that said person that I had a romantic relationship with my freshman year told me, "Michelle, you are so uninteresting." Now, before that person told me that, being labeled as that was one of my biggest fears. Throughout middle school, I did all I could to not be that. But when the person whom I loved the most told me that, it stayed with me for the longest time. Words have power. That has been told to us for so long. And it's true. Everybody has a word or a label that we are afraid to be put in, such as ugly, dumb, stupid, loser, weak, slut, weird, annoying, wimp, etc. Mine was uninteresting. That word hits home for me. But I would love to go back in time and tell myself, you are more than enough. You are pretty, beautiful, funny, intelligent, and most of all, you are interesting despite what anyone else says. And that is exactly what I want to tell each and every one of you, single one of you guys tonight. I may not know what has happened in your life so far or what labels have been thrown at you, but you are not those negative things. You are not stupid. You are not ugly. You are not weak. You are not a wimp. You are not a loser. But you guys want to know what you guys actually are? You guys are beautiful. You are handsome. You are smart. You are funny. You are talented. You are intelligent. You are strong. You are brave. You are courageous. Even if you have some rolls on your stomach, that's okay. That's normal. Even if you choose to watch Netflix all day, at least you have good taste in movies. You know what I mean. But I want you guys to turn to the person right next to you and tell them, you're beautiful. Do it. The person next to And I also want you guys to tell the person right next to you, you're the best thing to ever exist. And I also want you to tell the person right next to you, don't forget that. All right. So, back to the story. Okay. In that same year, sophomore year, ironically, I wanted to do the speech again, despite me feeling like absolute crap towards myself. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it because due to it was considered a distraction, even though Mr. Helmet clearly said that it was totally fine for me to do it in his classroom. But anyway, I was invited by Miss Maya herself, to do a speech at our women's conference called Dream It Be It, where I spoke about how young women have the power to pursue any career path they wish to choose. And then by the time junior year started, I have already met with two powerful women who happen to be powerful motivational speakers, and their names were Tabitha Christopher and Jade Champagne, who inspired me even more to write a powerful motivational speech one day. These are the type of people. This is my favorite part, sorry. I'm just getting ready for it. Okay. These are the type of people who you should look out for when it comes to fulfilling your dream. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Don't answer it out loud, but answer it in your head. Do you know what your purpose is? And if you do know your purpose, that's great. I know that's like a life, existential crisis question, what is my purpose? But if you do know, that's great, But if you don't know what your purpose is, find it. Because as someone once said, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but living a life without a purpose, which is a quote by Dr. Miles Monroe. Find something you're passionate for, something that puts a spark in your eyes, something. It can even be making pottery with grandma. Your purpose can literally be anything as long as it makes you happy and it benefits other people to do good in the world. For example, let's go back to the example of making pottery with grandma. If you invest your time to be the best potter there is, then by doing so you can sell your beautiful pottery to people all over the world. You can teach kids to make pottery. You can pass on your talent of making pottery to your kids, kids, or even start a business. Even if life may suck and throw things in your way, as long as you have a passion for something in your life, as long as you know your purpose, nothing can take that away from you. And believe me when I say this, nothing, absolutely nothing can take that away from you. Because It's within your heart, your soul, your whole being. Your purpose can be writing, singing, dancing, playing video games, talking, helping others, being nice, teaching, drawing, animating, editing, and the list goes on and on. A question that I always ask freshmen every year is, why did you choose to come to Santa Sue? And many of them have different answers. Some would say that they came here to be a part of the dance department, the choir department, the robotics team, to enroll in graphics design, to improve their drawing skills, etc. But some of them would have the same answer as me, which was to get away from everyone else for middle school. Because they wanted to be a part of a school that was full of people who were just like them, who were interested in the same things as them. However, despite coming here to get away from everyone else, we still get criticized outside of Santa Sue. Like every time when I would see people that I used to know outside of school, they would always ask me, so which high school do you go to? And I'm like, I go to Santa Sue. And they're like, oh, you go to that school? They always emphasize the word that, due to there being a stereotypical image when it comes to our school. One stereotype that I want to touch upon is that students at Santa Sue are stuck up. Now, I personally believe that this stereotype isn't true to the majority of students at Santa Sue. However, throughout my years here in Santa Sue, I have noticed that there are a few people who believe that just because they're in the best dance group, in the best vocal group, got the lead role, or just talented in general, they think they can treat others with disrespect and cut people out of their lives because they aren't in the same level as them. But something that I want to teach those people tonight, if that's you, is that if you believe or are aware that you are extremely talented, why not teach someone else to be better than you? Let me explain. I understand that the real world, you need to be the best. And that's just the honest truth. In order to stand out, you need to be the best at whatever you want to pursue. However, because we're in high school, you should take this time to, yes, get better at your talent and strive for the best, but to also make an impact in the lives around you. And in order to do that, it all depends on your attitude. Personality affects influence. Truly successful people only seek to influence. They do not seek success. I'm going to say that one more time. Truly successful people seek to influence. They do not seek success. And what I mean by that, for those who don't understand, and this teaching took me an extremely long time to understand, by the way, is that you know you made it when in your heart you truly believe you made a legacy in people's lives. That's when you have succeeded in life. I could die right now and be 100% confident that I have left a legacy within the lives of my friends, family, teachers, classmates, and everyone that has crossed my path. And you guys have the power to say the same. I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but just listen to what I'm about to say. People whom we consider successful, for example, Beyonce. Okay, we can all agree that everyone knows who Beyonce is. God forbid for this to happen, but let's just say that hypothetically she were to pass away. I think we can all agree that if she wanted to, before she died, didn't want a tombstone. Because maybe she believed that due to her being ultra famous, people would still remember her for generations and for generations. The honest reason, that the reason why people have tombstones, the purpose of tombstones, is because it's a way of remembering that they used to be here on earth. But people that we deem as successful don't need one, right? Because everybody knows who they are. Well, I encourage you guys to live your lives in such a way that you don't need a tombstone. And by that I mean live your life to the fullest. Leave an impact in people. Talk to people, teach people, love people, but most importantly, leave a legacy within people. If you are the best of the best in whatever department you are in, here at Santa Sue or in any school you attend to, when you graduate from your school, if you are kind and respectful towards the people around you and you talk to them, you teach them, you will have the confidence that you have left someone better than you behind to continue what you have started. And the same goes for teachers, admin, professors, counselors, or tutors. You have this same power that I just explained earlier in your hands. The power to leave a legacy within people. In my eyes, this is not me trying to suck up or anything, but teachers, in my eyes, teachers are the truly successful ones because they're surrounded by people all the time. They have the gateway to use this power. Teachers have the gift, obviously have the gift to teach. And that is the gift that destiny has given to them. I know that sounds really cheesy. That destiny has given to them. But this power only works if they use this gift the correct way, which is using it with the heart. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's true. If you aren't putting your heart into it, no matter what gift may be, no matter what your gift may be, then are you really making an impact? This doesn't just go towards teachers, this goes towards everyone here tonight. I think the person who is the perfect example of this is Mr. Helmuth. He could have easily chosen to retire, but because he has a passion for being a teacher, he truly is living his life to his fullest potential. He always tells his students that he won't retire till he expires. Which is, I mean, I guess it's a powerful quote, but he also tells his students to do the best you can with what you have, where you are. And that is a lesson that I always remind myself daily. So everyone has a gift. And again, if you don't know what yours is, find it. There's a quote by Dr. Miles Monroe, which is, "The wealthiest place in the world are not the gold mines of South America or the banks of the world. The wealthiest place on the planet is down the road. It is the cemetery. There lie buried companies that were never started, inventions that were never made, best-selling books that were never written, and masterpieces that were never painted. In the cemetery is buried the greatest treasure of untapped potential," which is a quote by Dr. Miles Monroe. And what that quote means is that whatever you're passionate for, share it to the world before you pass away, and live your life to the fullest extent. If you like to draw, get better at it, show people, show your art. If you like singing, sing all the songs you want, because you never know when your last day is. Currently, I am a senior in high school. I have learned many things so far. I have learned that even though we may not get what we want, there's always a reason to keep going. And you guys are the reason why I keep going. Each and every single one of you. I spent 4 years going to leadership conferences and met different motivational speakers, had people walk in and out of my life. I've experienced death. I've seen people I love cry, and I've even left an impact on those who aren't even fond of me. But my intention by saying this isn't to flaunt on what I have done. I bet my life that there are stories that have yet not been told within this audience. So many of you have stories and experiences that can change lives. This is a random question, but it will make sense later. How many people in here watch anime? Okay, and from those people who raised their hands, how many of you have watched My Hero Academia? Okay, only like 3, okay. So, as Izuku Midoriya once said, turn experience into power. Use your experiences as power. Once you apply this to your life, you guys will have some sort of peace within your hearts. I know that life is full of disappointments. I get it. But you see, when I think of people, I think of trees. Because trees are capable of withstanding anything that is considered big, like storms or fires. And yet, despite those big hits, they're still standing. But when it comes to itsy bitsy termites, they fall. That's how we are sometimes. We tend to stand tall when big problems come in our way, but it's the little things that make us have a mental breakdown. I know that this isn't what most of you guys want to hear, but I believe that life will always come full circle when we least expect it, and that things happen for a reason, which is said all the time, and especially when we're down, we hate hearing that things happen for a reason. But I do believe that life comes full circle when we least expect it, because this happened to me during school. So I had the pass to use the restroom because I was bored in one of my classes. And by the way, we weren't doing anything in that class, so it's okay. But as I was walking to the restroom, I was thinking about life, as you do when you walk to the school's restroom. And I was thinking to myself, why did all that bad stuff that I went through happen to me? Why me? I wish I could go back in time and not let those situations happen. I wish that it didn't happen to me at all. But as I was entering the girls' restroom while pondering the suckiness of my life, I feel like we can all relate to that. There was a girl crying, and there was another girl comforting her. I then proceeded to go up to the crying girl and asked her what was wrong. So she told the other girl who was comforting her to tell me what had happened, and said, her and her boyfriend of 2 years broke up, and she lost all her friends because of him. And that's when it finally clicked in my head. And this is why I went through what I went through. To help other girls and guys like her who went through the same thing I did a few years back. And what is mind-boggling is that she was going through the exact same scenario that I went through. The exact same one. And I told her everything that I wish someone would have told me when I was going through what she went through. And, I told her, you are beautiful. Don't let this, situation, destroy the way you see yourself. That I don't want to cry. I told her, I'm going to be here for you, for what you went through, because I know it's hard. And to see her cry really brought back those memories when I was going through that and I didn't have anyone, and it sucks. As little, I know that it happened a long time. I'm aware of that. I'm not dumb. I know it happened a long time, but I feel like it wouldn't have affected me that much to this day if I would have had friends. But because I didn't have anyone, it really does suck a lot to go through that. Especially if you're a young girl or a young guy. And again, whether that be romantically or a friend, it can just be just a friend. If you lose someone that you love truly, it really does hurt a lot. And when I saw her, I gave her the biggest hug that I've always wanted when I was in that same restroom crying. So yeah. And she wasn't even friends with the girl that was comforting her. And I told her what I just told you guys, how I didn't have anyone. And I said, look, there's this girl who's helping you. Be friends with her. She's here comforting you and she doesn't even know you. You guys can be good friends from this day on forward. After that encounter with said girl, I was going through, as always, I was going through a really rough time last week, and I was crying in the hallway during passing period. And you see, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but this is the reason why being nice and kind to people always pays off. Because even a simple hi to someone can really make someone's day. So there I was last week crying because of the whole location switch thing. And while I was crying, 5 people, whom I only say hi to every day, came up to me and asked me if I was okay. And that really warmed my heart a lot. And I am grateful for them. And then the girl from the restroom encounter caught me in the hallway crying and said, "I will never forget the time that you helped me in the restroom, and now I'm going to help you." Guys, that was the most genuine and happiest moment in my life, that little encounter that I had with her. Because that's when I finally realized that I have impacted this girl's life and taught her to give help to those who are in need. And I'm grateful for that. I came a long way, and so have you guys. If you guys are still living and breathing to be sitting here and then have the pleasure to go back home, then you guys have made it. Somebody else could have been sitting where you are, but no, you're sitting there and will continue to make it. I'm almost finished, you guys, don't worry. Okay? I have one last story, but I want to ask this question before I start, which is, how many of you guys have younger siblings? Raise your hand. Okay. I too have a sibling that is younger than me. Her name is Jessica, and she's 11 years old, and she's right there, right behind Cameron. Jessica, raise your hand. So this question will make sense once you guys have finished listening to the story. So this story is about the time, not too long ago, when I met this little girl who was a part of an after-school program that I attend to. And at one of those meetings after school, she asked me a very innocent question of, "So how's life?" And I responded with, "My life's going good, you know, how's yours?" And now I thought her answer was going to be like, "Oh, good," or "Okay," "Oh, it's all right," you know, because she's a little girl. But no. Instead, she said, "Not good. I'm done with school. I want to graduate from high school already." Mind you, this little girl is the exact same age as my little sister, 11. My little sister still plays with toys with her best friends. But when that little girl said that, my heart broke. I told her, "You're still a kid. You still need she's in 6th grade, and I told her you still need 7th, 8th, 9th, and many more years to graduate from high school." This is the reason why, if you have younger siblings, or if you know anybody who's younger than you, even if they're 1 year younger than you, talk to them. Ask them how their day was. Listen to them. Be there for them. Because they're still babies. I'm still a baby. We're all still babies, according to our parents when they look at us. You know? I mean, not until Thursday, because by then I'll be 18, but you know. But you know what I mean. That little girl is still a child. And for her to say that broke my heart. And I know that in some parts of this speech, I mentioned how middle school sucks. However, if you are in middle school, right now, it will get better. Yeah, again, you will go through obstacles in life. But me, and whoever brought you here tonight, is living proof that everything will be okay, even if life gets rough. And I want you guys to turn to your neighbor and say, "Everything will be okay." So again, to those people who raised their hands and they said that they watched My Hero Academia, there's this quote from that anime, and it for those who don't know, I want to include you guys. From this reference is My Hero Academia is about a boy named Midoriya who strives to be the world's greatest hero. I'm such a nerd. Okay. And there's a scene that gets to me every time, which was when he saved a little boy from fighting off a villain. And when he knocked the villain out, the little boy thought to himself, "Wow, even though this guy didn't know me and I was mean to him, he still saved me from this villain." And then he said, this is the part that gets to me. Okay, he's a hero, my hero. And I'm like, my heart. That scene gets to me every freaking time. And after the fight with the villain, the little boy wrote a letter to Midoriya. And after receiving the letter, Midoriya was sharing how he felt about the letter to his teacher. And this is what he said. He said, "Look at this letter someone sent me. It's from a boy I saved back at the training camp. A boy who hated everything to do with heroes and quirks. Telling me thank you. Yes, I know it's my fault that I've caused you so much concern, but even still, if only for a moment, in this letter, this boy made me his hero, and that makes it all worth it." So, again, that's the same reason why I do this. You guys make it worth it. And as long as one person took into heart what I said tonight, that's all that matters to me. And I want you guys to go home tonight and tell yourself from this day forward that you have the potential to do great things. Find out what your purpose is. Use your gifts for good. Leave a legacy within people. Help people in need, even if it's not needed. Know your self-worth. Know that you have power. Your experiences are your power. Your voice matters. And I want you guys to leave here knowing who you are. So now, I don't know, I'm going to go off script a little bit. But despite what I went through last week, again, with the whole PAC thing, I am so thankful for you guys for showing up. Because in the beginning of this project, I thought that nobody would care. And the reason why it gets to me though is because in the beginning of this project, I told myself, you know, why would I ever get the PAC, you know? And I thought it was gonna be an MUR, because I was like, why would I ever get the PAC? But even despite that, and I know I keep saying this over and over again, I'm thankful that it still happened, that I'm still doing this, that I'm up on this stage. Am I grateful that it's happening? Yeah. Am I grateful that Miss Albertson opened her doors for me to use the stage? Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? But I just want to thank you guys, for supporting me and my message. And even though I was just talking about me and what I went through, and again, I know you guys have stories that can change people's lives. I don't know what your life is at home. I know that once this is over, you guys will be going back to your homes. I don't know what you guys are going through. I really don't. I don't know what your family dynamic is. I don't know what your relationships at school are. I don't know. But I just want to say that no matter how hard it gets better. And I know that sounds really cheesy. It really does. Because I've heard it before. And I would get mad every time when my sister would tell me, "Michelle, stop crying." Like, everything's going to get better. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know my life. Anyway, an overdramatic teenager. But even despite that, we all go through problems, but as the title of this project is, see the good in everything. And I'm thankful that that whole PAC thing happened, because it really did test me. What a coincidence. I was after that happened, I was looking through what I wrote and I was like, oh my God, past Michelle. If only you knew, what just happened, and I was really frustrated and angry, but there's nothing, but I did everything that I could, again, to get it back, but again, because there was a lack of communication and organization, it didn't happen, you know? But I'm so thankful, you guys. I know I may not be expressing it the right way, but thank you for being here. I just want, like, when this is over, I want to give each and every one of you guys a hug. If you guys want to, if you guys are not huggers, that's okay. We can give a high five, it's fine. But, like, I really, really am thankful that you guys are here. It really touches my heart. Like, I'm going to be sleeping happy tonight. Like, I'm going to be like, oh, these people came. You know, and it's recorded. So, I mean, I'm going to look back at the recording and I'm like, wow, Michelle, you talk so much. You know, and so, yeah, but again, thank you guys so much. You guys mean, like, I know I may not know you and you may not know me, but you guys being here, again, really means a lot. And I know I'm getting annoying. I know you guys want to go home. But anyway. So yeah. I want you guys to leave here knowing who you are. I'm seeing familiar faces. You guys, you know, I'm going to point some people out, okay? So like Miguel in the yellow. He likes to sing, you know, but mostly he likes to do art mostly. That is his passion. You know, he wants to be an engineer one day, you know, and that's what he wants to do. I'm like trying to look at the people in the room. Lyda, she made a wonderful performance, you know. She sings beautifully. She does acting. That's freaking amazing. Oh my God. Like, you know, she did Beauty and the Beast. She was Belle. Like, you know, and then I see Bailey. He's known for his movies. I've seen them. They're pretty great, dude. Caleb, he acts in movies. You know, alongside with Gavin, you know, he does movies with them. Tristan, he likes to edit videos and he likes to film videos. And he's filming right now, so yeah. You know, and then Cameron, he likes to play video games. He likes everything to do with video games, you know. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be a game designer, you know. And then I know you like to sing, both of you guys, you know. And then Jenny, she likes to talk about the Word of God all the time. You know, that's what she loves to do, you know. And then like I'm trying to look at everyone else. Mr. Nevins, you know, like he already he's a you know, like he's a math teacher, you know, he's already lived his life, you know, and he's doing it for fun, and that's the reason why he's, yeah. You know, but no, what I meant is like but like he chose to become a teacher because he wants to teach, you know, he chose to do it, you know. And Miss Maya, the head of the district, you know, the assistant of the school district, she, you know, she's a powerful woman, a leader, you know. And again, I can go on and on about each and every one of you guys, you know, like it doesn't even have to be anything. Like Camila, I mean, like you dye your hair like different colors, and that's great, you know, like that's what you love to do, you know. Danny, both Dannys. Like one likes, like, all I know is that you do basic design, and then Danny, she does graphics design, you know. So there's that. So each and every one of you guys have a talent. Every you guys have a gift. And again, I may not know you personally, I may not know what you want to do, but there's always something. But anyway, I'm wrapping this up. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Okay, I was going off script. Okay, so I know who I am. I am a daughter, a sister, a friend, a teacher, a mentor, a student, a fighter, a leader, and a motivational speaker. I am all these things combined. And I'm not saying, and another thing I want to say is that I'm not saying that okay, I'm sorry. Who are you? You know, that's the question I want to ask you guys. It's such an existential question. What are the special and perfect things that make up you? And that is a question that I want to leave you guys tonight. So again, before you all leave, I just want to give thanks to Ms. Albertson for opening her doors for me and letting me use her drama classes stage. I want to thank Ms. McGrath for being my mentor. I want to thank Mr. Nevins for being my advisor. I want to thank Tristan Varner for video recording. I want to thank Tech. Okay? Say hi, Tech. Yeah. I want to give thanks to Lyda for singing and performing. Let's give it a round of applause. I want to give thanks to Danny Bashai for designing the posters. And I want to thank my family and friends for supporting my dreams. I love you guys dearly. So yeah, my family's over there. And I want to thank, again, I'm going to sound so annoying. I want to thank you guys for taking your time out of your day to support my project. And it really means a lot to me because without you guys, this message would be given to a wall. And most importantly, I want to thank God for putting strength in my heart when things got rough and for directing me on where I need to go. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my Father in the sky. So again, don't forget to keep your head held high with your beautiful and handsome smiles on your faces and every storm that comes in your way. And as Tiny Artini Tempa once said, everyone's a kid that no one cares about. You just have to keep screaming till they hear you out. So thank you all. Drive safe, walk safe back home, and have a good and blessed night. Thank you.